From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome. I'm beginning tonight with a big news development which has gone completely unnoticed as usual by the rest of the media. The rest of the media who never report what is important. Donald Trump, former US president, who is not only the front runner, but I believe is likely to win the American elections later this year, has announced that if he comes to power, he will lure and seduce the best of Indian students studying in top universities in America like Harvard, MIT, and several other globally highly rated American universities. Donald Trump says that I'm going to lure the Indian students, make them leave India, give them a green card through an automatic route when I come back to power, so that they don't come back to India. Donald Trump says that the best of Indian and Chinese students in America should have an immediate pathway to American citizenship, to a green card, so that instead of taking up great jobs and building great careers in India and becoming great entrepreneurs in India, they live and work in America instead. That they give up their Indian citizenship, that they live in America and work to make, as he says, America great again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a big development and we're not even noticing it. Surprising. Trump is a skilled businessman and he knows that no business, no economy, and no country in the world can operate without great talent. And therefore, he's incubating Indian talent. And if he succeeds, he might end up taking the best of Indian talent to America with the promise of a green card. A student who would have studied in America may now pay truckloads of money. A student can go to his parents and say, I need 4 crore rupees for a bachelor's degree, in the hope that once I complete my bachelor's degree, I will automatically get American citizenship down the line. So this is a real situation. Many Indian students who would have studied in IITs, Delhi University, Indian School of Business, they will all say, no, let's go to America. Let's hold it. Let's go to America. Let's somehow pay our way through that 4 years of that degree. And then go to Uncle Donald Trump and say, here we are, bright Indian student, give us a green card, so that we can give up our Indian citizenship, make ourselves American citizens and work towards your dream of making America great again. Now my question is, we can keep cribbing, but what are we doing to keep that talent back home? What are we giving our future scientists, our future economists, our future geostrategists, our future tech wizards, our future rocket scientists, our space scientists? What are we giving them instead? Apart from dubious exams conducted by the dubious NTA, you just seen what happened at NEET, and a completely out of date medieval UPSC structure that just the India's IAS lobby does not want to give up. What real options are we giving young Indians who want to come back and serve his or her country? Trump's plan should be a wake-up call for the Indian government, the Indian educational establishment, the Indian bureaucracy that is refusing to modernize the civil services exam and is giving no avenue for a talented Indian domain expert in any field, economics, geostrategy, business, finance, computers, space, giving no opportunity to them to serve their country by working for the government. Instead, you are told, mug up these big books on general studies, study 2 or 3 subjects, go for a 100-year-old exam, and then point this percentage of you have a chance of getting selected. Ladies and gentlemen, the private sector is always there. But the biggest motivation for a young Indian is to make India greater. Trump wants the best of India's brains to make America greater. And I say that it is time that we confront Trump's plan with a better one of our own instead of complaining. What do you say to that? I come to you with multiple debates tonight. Viewers, this green card promise of Donald Trump is mighty dangerous, I'm telling you. If he implements it, we're going to lose truckloads of Indian students. We're going to go to America and stay there. Debate number 2 tonight, viewers. On the Darshan story, the superstar and the murder, we have 2 points of view tonight on the developing story with great inputs from Republic Canada. And at 9 o'clock tonight, why I think Rahul Gandhi is trying to play with and prey on students. And I say, students, you're strong enough on your own. You don't need to be led by Rahul Gandhi. This is your fight. Don't let it get politicized. And here are the headlines this Friday evening on the debate tonight. First Patna, then Godhra, and now Ranchi. A multi-city NEET scam involves big political links. And remember, all of this is happening just 3 days before the first session of the parliament. There is an attempt to mobilize students, to prey on and play with students. Rahul and Priyanka riding on the anger of the agitated students. But I want to tell you today, fight your battles alone, students. Don't let any politician misuse you for their own gains.
थोड़ा ज्ञान प्राप्त कर लेना चाहिए इन लोगों को। ये लोग जो किंगपिंग जो है पेपर लीक के, उन लोगों से इशू को डाइवर्ट करना चाहते हैं।
After Republic's deep investigation exposed the student kingpin Mantri link in the NEET scam, the opposition is distancing themselves. We told you how Tejasvi Yadav, RJD leader's close aide, is linked to the NEET scam. Today, the former Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar says it's an attempt to divert attention. It's a shame how these politicians are playing with the students. Day after day after day, there are skeletons tumbling out of the Renuka murder case. The actor that you see on your screens, Darshan, brutally assaulted and planned the murder of his own fan, paid about 70 lakh rupees to hide that murder, went and took shelter inside his wife's home, and today a Congress MLA is giving him a clean chit. And the announcement that former American President Donald Trump has made, where he has pitched to retain Indian brains. Trump says that he wants to grab the best of Indian students by promising them a green card and telling them they're going to have an automatic route to American citizenship. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a big development gone unnoticed so far in the rest of the Indian media, but we are looking at it sharply tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start the show tonight with a topic that has been conveniently ignored by the rest of the media that has been running behind petty statements of politicians. Tonight, I want to bring to you an issue that, in my view, is of great concern to you and your future. Trump is promising green cards to good Indian students. He is luring them and saying, when I'm going to come back as American president, I'm going to give a green card to all Indian students graduating from top American universities. His idea is to take away the best of our minds. And I urge the Indian government, I urge them to get beyond their shallow politics and look upon this as a real threat. Because if the best of Indian minds go and serve America, our future will be compromised.
With elections due in November in the United States of America, there's a dramatic change in Donald Trump's stance.
Thank you very much.
after promising the largest deportation operation in American history if he is re-elected.
We have no choice. Within moments of my inauguration, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in America. No choice. We have no choice because this is not sustainable. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. They know that.
Trump is now changing his tunes. Former US president wants to grant green cards to foreign graduates from top American colleges. Trump's comment contradicts his 2016 promise to end the use of H-1B visas. Trump's proposal could potentially benefit the Indian diaspora. It also raises a burning question on what are we doing as a nation to retain our own talent.
This is actually a huge development, but it's gone unnoticed. And I have with me a great guest list tonight, Professor Madhav Nalapat, Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow, ORF. Madhav Nalapat, of course, is Vice Chairman of the Manipal Advanced Research Group. Saurabh Shukla is Editor-in-Chief of newsmobile.com. Abhijit Chawda is a very well-recognized podcaster, geopolitical analyst. I love his podcast. I like his style. Sajju Jain is board member of CRDF tonight. He's alumni of Harvard and of the University of Iowa. Mr. Jain, I want to begin with you. What's the strategy here, you think? It's a very important issue, and we have sort of not looked at it. But when Trump says, I want to give an automatic green card to the best of Indian students who are going to the greatest schools, who are going to the phenomenal schools. He mentions Harvard and MIT and all the greatest schools. What's on his mind here, and why is he doing this?
Well, there's a global race for talent, and talent is always going to go to where the best opportunities are available. My point of view is quite simple, is that, the US has always been considered the land of opportunity in the West. Why aren't we looking at India as the land of opportunity in the East? And what are we doing to make that happen?
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Saurabh, there's a thought here.
Yeah.
There's a clear thought here. He says that, we need the best of the Chinese and Indian students, because these students go back to India and, in his words, they become multi-billionaires employing thousands and thousands of people. He says they should be doing that in America instead.
Arnab, there are two things. I'm glad that you've taken up this issue, and this is obviously your understanding.
I'm losing you there on the video link. You're back. You're back now. You're back. I lost a few words in between.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you got this issue up. See, the reason why Donald Trump has done this is because he realizes that Indian Americans are a crucial vote bank. So far, there were a lot of fears because of his policy on immigration. Now, the fact that he has clarified that skilled immigrants, and specifically Indian immigrants, because he knows a lot of these talented students are from India. By this announcement, he has made sure that some of the swing states, some of the Indian Americans, their vote can make a big difference to Donald Trump's tally. And if he has to win the November elections, the crucial votes will be of Indian Americans. That's one reason. Secondly, it's not that easy to get green card to everyone. So I think while, yes, India has to make all the changes to attract the best talent back to India, because a lot of these young people want to work in India. But the challenge is, as you said rightly, that we have situations like the NEET exam happening. We don't have proper infrastructure to support some of the best talented people, the domain experts. You talked about geopolitics. You talked about, whether it's AI engineers. If we create the talent pool here, we create opportunities. Some of these young people will also be coming back to
India. But he is very strategic. Trump is very strategic. Trump is very strategic. You have to give it to him. I agree there's a political angle, but there's also a thought here. I want to go to Abhijit next. Abhijit, see, he wants the best. He says, I want to make America great again. He knows that his next term, when he gets it, is going to be his last term. He's going to go all out. So he's saying, I'm going to give an automatic green card. Automatic green card may mean that suppose you're a student from a middle class family, you can't afford 4 to 5 crores, which it costs for a 4-year degree minimum in the United States. students will take huge loans, go to America not to study in that university, because they'll say, okay, if I go to Princeton, or I go to MIT, or I go to Stanford, or I go to Harvard, then I am automatically getting that green card. And then I become a citizen. So the person is lost for us. So we can't discount this. I mean, we can't underplay this, can we?
Yes, indeed. It's a huge incentive for Indians to now go to the US and study, take out big loans and get out of India, because the Indian education system is absolutely abysmal. Everybody wants to escape this. If we had a better education system and better opportunities here, it would be different. So Indians will be incentivized to go there. And Trump obviously has a domestic political reason for doing this. There's a massive influx of illegals from every country into the US. More than 7 million illegal immigrants in the past 3.5 years. So 24 will probably be the last election actually decided by US citizens. That's what Elon Musk says. So he wants to get the Indian vote. There are lots of Indians over there, and they want obviously more Indians to come in. So,
what if he
that's
follows
one of the reasons he's doing this.
Abhijit, what if he follows this? Or what if he actually does this, say in the first 3 months of his administration? Are we going to sit and watch? You know, the best of Indian minds will go.
Oh, yes. What can the Indian government do? I think the Indian government should have, done something to reform the education system or taken steps. There is this new education policy 2020, which is in the works, but that's not really going to address anything.
We have run out of time.
Absolutely.
Abhijit, it's not only about the education system, it's also about the opportunity after that. Suppose today, a 23, 24, 25-year-old Indian wants to serve the country. What will they do? Sit for an UPSC exam as 60% reservation, then there's hardly a chance, and then there is the kind of horrible NEET system, the NTA, your entire future is in doubt. I think this NEET issue has not just made students who are applying for medical insecure, it would make someone in UGC NET insecure, it would make somebody for the joint entrance exam insecure, for the CLAT insecure, so it's had a cascading effect. This is dangerous. Professor Nalapat, Trump wants wealth creators. He is saying on day one on my new administration, I will carry out the largest deportation in American history. I will remove immigrants, especially illegal immigrants who are committing crimes, stealing jobs and government resources, and his words, poisoning the blood of the United States. On one side that. Then he's saying, oh, but I want those best Indian students who go to places like Harvard and MIT to get automatic green cards after their graduation. There's a business logic here.
Well, Arnab, my worry is that Harvard, MIT, and other universities, they're extremely well endowed, and they have very strong financial support. They are, if they go the route of giving a lot of scholarships, for example, to Indian students, the United States security system is a little wary of Chinese students because the potential that some of them may be serving as in a role other than students, but Indian students are welcome. And if that were to happen, there's no doubt that it would mark a very significant change, for the simple reason that if you try and block all immigration, illegal immigration, yes. Now what's happening is that illegal immigration is uncontrolled, legal immigration is being blocked, and legal integration into the country is being blocked. I think Trump, as a good businessman, he is basically saying, I'll enforce a crackdown on illegal immigration and ensure that legal immigrants are given a green card and a pathway to success in the United States. You're quite right about that. And may I say that, it's very important that we get our systems in place. There is such a thing as possibly over-centralization. The United States has quite a decentralized system. It's serving the country well. So if you over-centralize in a country the size of India and the complexity of India, then
we are not doing enough.
Then 1% or 1% of individuals in the system can completely damage the integrity of the entire system.
It's also telling me that he's investing in a future extremely premium demographic dividend, Sushant. He is not willing to give H-1B category visas, for example, very easily to a 45 or 50-year-old Indian who would have children and aging parents to continue to live and work in the United States. He's going to be very stingy with those. But to a 23, 24-year-old graduate of an MIT or Princeton, he's rolling out the red carpet. So he is doing this with an intention.
Arnab, let's get a couple of things straight. Number one, this is not aimed at India. This is not aimed at China. This is aimed at his own domestic constituency,
Sure.
as Professor Deepak very correctly said. This is because of the anomalies of the American immigration system that you have millions of, I think Abhijit was talking about millions of people streaming into America, most of them thugs, criminals, God knows what all. And you have bona fide students, brilliant students who are going out there, and you're not even giving them a chance to work after they graduate. That is one. So I think he's trying to address that, and he's trying to address his domestic constituency. Secondly, on the Indian front, let's get a couple of things straight. Number one, this scheme, from what I can understand, is not limited only to the Princeton and Harvards. And let me tell you something, the really cutting edge work in American universities is not happening in Princeton and Harvard. What you have in Princeton and Harvard are encampments and support for Hamas and terrorism support. What you have other universities in the United States, which are not very well known in India, the Emorys, the Vanderbilts and others, who are doing the most cutting edge scientific research. So keep that in mind. This is also for those universities. Number three, I think it is important to understand, given the abysmal nature of Indian academia, it is good if Indian students go abroad. They get, they hone their talents, they hone their skills, but we have to create a system that they come back. Many of them would want to come back, but tell me something, Arnab. In this country, you have done cutting edge research in the world, and you join an organization where an IAS Babu whose history honors pass will lord over you and tell you whether a particular rocket should fire or should not fire. Number one.
That's
Number
my point.
two,
That's my point.
One second. Let me just finish. You have a cutting edge economist who will come and tell you there will be another some Babu sitting out there, some deputy secretary telling you how things should work or should not work. Number three, please tell me which private sector out here does R&D work. Nobody, virtually nobody, right? It's not just about doing software.
No, it is not. You're bang on.
And last year,
Bang on.
And this is crucial.
No,
Please
bang
tell
on.
me-
Absolutely the point. Absolutely the point.
What legal and regulatory reforms have you brought in that if I am an entrepreneur who comes back from the US, I want to set up a manufacturing facility? Do you know, a friend of mine, a colleague of mine has done a research. There are 26,000 penal clauses in Indian laws that can put you in jail because you've not kept a peak down so that you can, a spittoon in your factory.
No,
floor.
it's so
You
well
have not
said.
kept a place for a horse to drink water. You have these kind of bizarre
No, we
laws.
are. You see, that what Prime Minister Narendra Modi needs to do in his third term is understand that the kind of threat this is. And actually, there has been a pushback from the bureaucracy, so Saurabh. It is not like the government has not wanted to change the nature of recruitment, for example, into government. But IAS lobby does not like it. My question tonight would be this, Abhijit and Saurabh, to you. Suppose today there is a PhD in economics from Harvard, an Indian, or a PhD in space research from Stanford, or a PhD in computer science from MIT, right? And he or she says, I want to work towards Viksit Bharat. I want to make India great again. They are not going to come back, Abhijit, and sit and mug up a general studies paper, a tutorial, go to a tutorial somewhere or go to a coaching center after having done a PhD in computer science from MIT. They want to serve the country. China achieved a lot because it got that high-level quality of talent into government. We think all we need to do is make unicorn banao, entrepreneurship banao. They want to work for the government. We have no opportunities. And Trump is pulling our talent away, Saurabh. It's a huge threat. What do you think, Saurabh, and then Abhijit? Saurabh first.
Yeah, Arnab, you've said the right thing. Take the case of India's diplomatic establishment. Where have we created real opportunity for domain experts to get in? Not everything can be done by officers who join the foreign service. A lot of domain experts who can be tapped in. What about ministries? Prime Minister had a great plan of getting domain experts into the government. I spoke to a bunch of them. They told me about the frustration. They face by the bureaucracy which is there, which does not want to get in these young talent.
The bureaucracy wants to hold on to the positions even after they are retired.
Arnab, I'm telling you, what happens, what does US do? They get talent from the private sector, straight entry into the US State Department.
I agree.
Where is that program like that?
No, there isn't one. That's my problem. There isn't one. There isn't one. And then we say, Saurabh, sorry to intervene. Then we say that, oh, look how well Indians do when they go abroad. All the CEOs of the top 648 unicorns, almost 100 of them are led by Indians. We should be proud about that. But we have done everything possible. As a country, Abhijit, we do everything possible to make sure that the highest quality talent from the highest and best universities never comes back to India. We deny them the opportunities and we create a babudam out here. Abhijit.
Yes, indeed. We don't roll out the red carpet for our talent. We have so much talent that has to leave the country to get an education abroad. I mean, Saurabh spoke about the US, what they have done. Look at what the Chinese have done. They have the 1,000 Talents program. They've spent trillions of dollars worth of money into identifying which sectors.
South Korea as well.
They need to focus on. Indeed. So they are very strategic about this. They have a long-term plan and vision. Where is our vision? Where's our plan? What are the industries and sectors that we want to focus on the next 20 years? And how do we get people back? How do we incentivize them to come back? Do research, do actual R&D, do actual technological development, start up new companies and unicorns. How do we do this? Do we have a plan? We do not seem to have a plan. And this is something I've been speaking about for years, and nothing is being done, so that's really frustrating. But we can just copy what the Chinese have done and modify it to suit our requirements. And we can have a 10-year program, and that's how we start off. But I don't see anything being done. And the root cause is the education system, which is abysmal. It doesn't teach you critical thinking.
Employment system also.
What to think and so on.
Employment system, government recruitment system.
Indeed.
Government recruitment system.
There's no merit in India. No merit. It's all reservations. I mean, how do you process?
So someone is therefore recognizing Mr. Saju Jain. And Trump being Trump, I mean, you can bet on him to get right down to the point. He's cut the chase. He says, I want those who are pulling American society down out. I want the illegal infiltrators, the uneducated, the ones who contribute to our crime, etc. out. And I want the complete creme de la creme of academia, institutions, the best, to get an automatic entry into my country. Now, what should we do? We're running out of time. Saju, what would you do? We can talk about this, but what would we do?
Yeah, I would look at a solution right now, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I have a friend, he's an American. He's lived here in India for 17 years. He's raised $4 billion for Indian companies in terms of funding. And yet, every year, he has to go and get his visa stamped. His children were educated here, they've grown up over here, and they can't get a job here. They've studied in the best universities, and they want to come back here and they want to study here. So where is our program, right? It's not, all the other panelists have spoken about, about Indians, but why aren't we taking a very broader view and saying, let us be a magnet for global talent. Wherever the best talent is, yes, they can go to the US, but why not have India as an option?
Absolutely.
So if we create a program that allows the best talent in the world to come, set criteria, set judicious, meritorious criteria, and let them come here, set up their businesses here, give them something to hold on to.
Yeah.
When somebody's been here for 17 years and still has to go every year to take a stamp on their visa, what are we talking about how we treat talent?
Yeah. I agree with you, Saju, and viewers, before I go for the last point by Professor Madhav Nalapat, I just want to tell you, viewers, that Indian origin CEOs, this is the biggest cliche, they lead 16 Fortune 500 companies, they employ millions of Americans, they generate trillions of dollars in revenue, and Indian Americans have also co-founded 72 out of the 648 unicorns, which means 1 out of every 9 unicorns in America is being founded by an Indian American. And we are sitting here discussing when to implement a caste census. We are sitting here discussing how to do NEET all over again. And then we say we will have a Viksit Bharat. And my point is you can't have a Viksit Bharat. We've got to change the whole system. But the problem in our country is when one Sanjeev Sanyal opens his mouth out on that, and when one Sanjeev Sanyal says that the UPSC is outdated, everybody jumps on him. Like he is cardinal sin, Sanjeev Sanyal. Act on him. We're just not being practical here. Am I right? So you saw what happened to him? He was being trolled like anything because he criticized the UPSC. He said the damn right thing, Saurabh.
There's a whole lobby, Arnab. Which
Whole
does not
lobby
want
went after him.
This system to be unshackled. They don't want, because they are a vested interest which thrive on this.
I know people will say I'm biased to Sanjeev because he was just senior to me in college, in Delhi University and at Oxford. But I would say if you get 200 Sanjeev Sanyals to come back to the country, we would be better off. But we're not doing anything. Now my question here is it too late? Is it too late, Professor Nalapad? What would you have one foot in academia as well.
Look, I'd like to say, Arnab, very clearly that, first of all, India and Indian education institutes are capable of attracting the best talent. Manipal University, for example, and several other universities, Manipal have a substantial number of foreign students, including US citizens. They're not coming to here because of the climate. They're coming here because of the quality of education.
Yeah.
And now you correctly talked about Babuda. Look at ISRO and the Atomic Energy Commission. Both of these were staffed, headed by scientists, atomic scientists and space scientists. They were not headed by bureaucrats.
Yeah.
And what happened? Even though they were completely domestic, even though we were completely blocked from access to foreign technology, we developed the best technology.
I'm with you.
So, as has correctly been said, Indian domain experts can do the job, but give them a chance, number one.
Give them a chance.
Number two, as you very correctly said, 26,000 ways in which an Indian can be sent to jail. It's the easiest thing in the world to send somebody to jail in India, which is frankly wrong. It should be the most difficult thing to send anyone to jail. That should be the case, particularly in India, the largest democracy. So yes, and in today's online age, where frankly information can flow in nanoseconds, I am really surprised that you have a system such as NEET, which allows this kind of copying of paper questions all over the place. And obviously there will be some people who cheat. You can use online systems to make sure that everybody gets the paper at the same time, and only a few will have that access. So you can identify who are the likely perpetrators.
I agree with you on everything.
Punish them very severely.
I agree with you on everything. Only that part about going to jail, having had some personal experience of that. Ouch! You touched a raw nerve out there. But you were rubbing it in on me. But I know there are a billion ways in which innocent Indians can be sent to jail. But my question is, viewers, tonight, take what Trump is doing very seriously. It's not a Trump joke. If it becomes from intention to execution, believe me, it's the biggest threat for the country. An accelerated brain drain.